Good morning and welcome to the regular meeting of City Council for Tuesday, October 19th, 2021. I have a meeting announcement. Council will be meeting in a hybrid format until further notice. We encourage speakers to continue joining us virtually as there will be limited number of seats available in council chambers. However, we welcome you to join us however you can. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Reverend Burgess. Here. Mr. Coghill. Ms. Gross. Mr. Kraus. Mr. Lavelle.
Here.
Mr. O'Connor. Ms. Strasburger. Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mrs. Cal Smith, President.
Here.
5 members present.
Thank you. As we join from our remote locations, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, our next order of business is proclamations. I have one to be presented, and Councilman Lavelle is presenting for me on behalf of the month of domestic violence awareness month. Do we have people here for the proclamation from the police? Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your work in the city of Pittsburgh. Women. Oh, great. Thank you. And we're also joined by our Pittsburgh Bureau of Police and the Women's Center and Shelter, who do a lot of work, a tremendous amount of work in this area and have for years. And October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Thank you all for being here. I'll present the proclamation and we'll ask whomever wants to come speak. Whereas Domestic Violence Awareness Month has been recognized nationwide as a way to connect and unite individuals and organizations in order to raise awareness of domestic violence issues and be a voice to its victims. Whereas every year, approximately 10 million people become victims of domestic violence, which equates to just about 20 people every minute. It affects all people regardless of age, socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, gender, race, religion, or nationality, and its devastating consequences can cross generations and last a lifetime. Whereas its harmful acts can be in the form of physical, sexual, financial, or emotional abuse and control, and is often a part of a much larger systematic pattern of dominance that can result in psychological trauma and even death. In December of 2020, the City of Pittsburgh Domestic Violence Unit published a valuable resource guide for victims of intimate partner violence, including how to file protection from abuse order. And whereas the COVID-19 pandemic compounded the issues of domestic violence, with many victims increased time in isolation with their abusers and limited contact with support networks, which makes it more difficult to access life-saving services. The pandemic made it challenging for the City of Pittsburgh domestic violence detectives to complete complex home visits and instead relied on phone call interactions to make sure that every victim was provided with necessary resources. And whereas you can help a victim by checking in with them regularly, lending an ear, being available to them, researching shelters, and having numbers close by, calling police when you hear or witness an abusive situation, and when they are ready, help with an escape plan, all of which could save a life. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby commend the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police Domestic Violence Unit for their work in protecting and helping victims, and to encourage citizens to wear a purple ribbon in support of domestic violence victims. And be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare the month of October 2021 to be Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the City of Pittsburgh.
Give a motion to approve in a second.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Proclamation's approved. Congratulations. Thank you for your work. Thank you, Councilman Lavelle.
Good morning. My name is Sergeant Toriana Mitchell. I'm with the Domestic Violence Unit in Major Crimes. I wanted to introduce some of the members of our Pittsburgh Bureau of Police, and I'd like to thank you, Council President F. and Councilman Lavelle and council members for having us this morning on domestic violence awareness. I have Chief Bickerstaff, Major Crimes Commander Richard Ford, our crime analyst Aaron Frank, Executive Assistant in Investigations Angela Brundage, the Chief Trial Deputy DA Bill Patula, sorry about that, Detective Antoine Davis, Detective Bob Sinowick, and I have advocates from the Women's Center in Shelter, Lynn and Nicole, I'm sorry. Thank you for having us today. The Domestic Violence Unit was expanded in 2019 with a grant that was provided to the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police from the Nina Baldwin Foundation. We are in partnership with the Women's Center and Shelter, and if you are a victim of domestic violence and you would need resources, the Women's Center and Shelter can be reached at 412-687-8005. If you are in a domestic violence crisis and need an emergency assistance, please call 911. And if you would need just general information, you can contact the Domestic Violence Unit at 412-323-7250. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else want to speak? Chief, you don't want? No? Okay. Oh, she did a great job. And some of you got the memo to wear purple. I did not. I apologize. I'll wear it next time. It's the Women's Center and Shelter. You want to say anything? Thank you.
It's really an honor to be here today on behalf of Women's Center and Shelter of Greater Pittsburgh. Our partnership with the City of Pittsburgh Police over decades and decades has been just really an incredible, true partnership. And we're so honored to work side by side to help intimate partner violence victims. Women's Center and Shelter, thank you so much for mentioning our hotline number, provides comprehensive services for those who are being victimized by their partners. We also provide battering intervention programs. And no matter where you are on your journey, whether you're just trying to figure out whether you're in a violent relationship or an abusive relationship, whether you are literally fleeing for your lives or anywhere in between, we can offer help and hope. So just to reiterate, our hotline number 412-687-8005, which is a 24/7 number. We also offer text and chat. You can go to our website, wcspittsburgh.org or wcscanhelp.org, and chat with us from 9 to 9 daily. So thank you again so much to City Council, President Smith, to all of the City Council members. We appreciate all of your help and support over the years, and especially we're so honored with our partnership with the City of Pittsburgh Police. So thank you all to each and every one of you.
Thank you. Anyone else? That's it? Is it members? Did you want to say anything? Members? Do you want to say anything? Okay. I just want to make sure none of the ones on screen. I just want to thank you again for all your work. It doesn't get easy to do policing job in this country, and it's not any different here in the city of Pittsburgh. But it also is amazing the work that the Women's Center and Shelter and your partnership with our Pittsburgh Bureau of Police, who do a tremendous job. So I want to thank you all for your work, and hope that if there's some way we can make your jobs less challenging and cumbersome, that we can do that, and you'll approach council for that. Because I can tell you, I learned more about this when Tamiko Stanley worked for the city of Pittsburgh and brought this, all the work that you do to my attention, all the groups and organizations that work with our police to reduce domestic violence. So I'd be happy to do anything else that we can do. Thank you. Thank you for your work. Councilman, you want to take a photo with everyone? Members, you want to come up? I feel like we should stand in front of the TV screen so we can get Erica and Deb and Councilman Burgess on. Because I know this is an issue that they also care about equally. Reverend Burgess did a lot of work in this area as well. Good morning.
Behind the stand on the step there, from you over. Yes, back on the step so we can get everybody in there.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your work. Be safe. Thank you. Thank you so much for your work. Be safe. Be safe. Thank you. We'll put this on our website, on the city's website. Is it on there?
I appreciate like the stop signs.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Come here, please, go back. Thank you. They're gonna do more. They're gonna do more. I think they were trying to get Ingram to agree on the speed bumps.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. See you. Thank you. And we have one for Councilman Coghill to be presented. Do we have Councilman Coghill's not here, right?
Correct.
Can one, Councilman Kraus, can you present for Councilman Coghill?
supposed to
I'd be
be
happy
read. It's
supposed to be read?
not presented.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman. It's supposed to be read into the
Right in
it's,
record, okay.
it's not supposed to be presented?
No.
Okay, it's under presented for me.
Wow.
Okay,
Councilman Coghill presents Bill number 2063. Now therefore be it resolved that the council of the city of Pittsburgh does hereby commend Alexander Moore Fisher, and be it further resolved that the council of the city of Pittsburgh does hereby declare Saturday, October 23rd, 2021, to be Alexander Moore Fisher Day in the city of Pittsburgh.
Motion to approve.
in a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion? Proclamations approved. Oh, I'm sorry, all in favor. Did you say aye? I just heard Councilman Kraus. All in favor, let's try that one more time.
Aye.
Aye.
Proclamations approved. And then we have a will of council from me. Madam Clerk? No, just read the synopsis.
Council President Smith presents, now therefore be it resolved that the council of the city of Pittsburgh is in support of the America's 250 PA Commission, and be it further resolved that a copy of this will of council shall be presented to the Allegheny County Executive and Allegheny County Council.
Thank you. Can we have a motion to approve?
Removed.
Second, any discussion? Can I have a second? I didn't hear a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Will's approved. That's also approved. And now I have our next order of business is public comment. And thank you to the public for your patience as we go through this morning's agenda. I would like to remind everyone that the rules of council state that comments are limited to matters of concern, official action, or deliberation, which are or may be before city council. Threats and profanity will not be permitted. May we have the first speaker, please? And I have Naomi Mullen as the first registered speaker. Naomi?
Good morning,
Good morning, Naomi.
Teresa. Shady trees, not shady deals in Bon Air. The Pennsylvania State Constitution says, all power is inherent in the people and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness. Where did elected officials get the idea that they are lording over us? How can they make decisions for our community that we have lived in and been property owners in for decades? How can Gregory Coyle sit smugly at a town hall meeting in opposition to we, the property owners of Bon Air? His response about the parking issue at the building is that the mayor is not going to require it. Is Mayor Peduto his best buddy? No wonder the mayor is on his way out. Our community is not his to make and mold to his will. We, the people of Bon Air, do not consent to this threat to our peace, safety, and happiness. Official oppression has consequences. Perhaps there is a neighborhood busting plan afoot. Block busting is illegal. Is there any lobbying or unregistered lobbying taking place? Are only special friends of Bill Peduto involved in this non-compliant sale? My sincere, consistent request is that City Council create a resolution to block zoning change and support a green space to replace Bon Air's school building. Do your part for the environment. Reduce urban heat. Reduce watershed to Route 51. Increase green space to benefit all ages and stages. Protect the children at the playground across the street. Let's make it wheelchair accessible to allow those who have difficult access to nature the ability to enjoy it. Tear down detrimental problem buildings, not safe, stable neighborhoods. You want to reduce watershed to Route 51, and this is your opportunity to help that need. Shady trees, not shady deals in Bon Air. Thank you.
Thank you, Naomi. Have a good day. And our next registered speaker is Dr. Ronald Miller. Good morning, Dr. Miller.
Good morning. Dr. Ronald N. Miller, Bells Hoover. What is new is the YouTube channel, Dr. Ron Miller, Global Intelligence Society candidate for Mayor 2021. All the PC items are documented. Concern of this council is a claim to be able to enforce language decorum in public comment. Council President Kraus drummed decorum at me in the hallway as if a Council Rule 15, December 2014. Here is my response to Kraus. It is not. Council President Cale Smith claims, quote, "We do not permit profanity." On 29 March 2016, in her City Council public comment, citizen Stormy Miramontes, SM, said, providing no evidence, that she wanted another citizen to, quote, "leave me the F alone." Profanity? No. On a profanities list, only you know. Council President Kraus allowed it. Here is a letter addressed to Dr. Ronald Lynn Miller at the Global Intelligence Society, 40 Bells Hoover, from the City of Pittsburgh Office of Solicitor, denying the legal foundation of the council decorum anti-profanity claim. Pittsburgh Council Abuse of Citizen Civil Speech Rights, Target RLM. On 18 July 2018, during my public comment, Councilor Deborah Gross, Democratic Party, came 6 feet to my right, talking loudly to another citizen. Councilor Burgess, presiding, allowed it. Pittsburgh Council Abuse of Citizen Civil Speech Rights, Target RLM. I transmitted a detailed narrative of these episodes 10 to 15 September 2021 to 1 Pittsburgh Office of Municipal Investigations, Aaron Bruni, DP. 2, Pittsburgh Office of Solicitor Lon Hilton, DP. 3, Pennsylvania State Office of Attorney General, Civil Rights Section, Corbett Anderson, DP. 4, U.S. National Department of Justice, PA Western District, Joseph Weiss, DP. 5, PA State Senator Wayne Langerholt, State Voting and Civil Rights Committee, RP. 6, PA State Representative Seth Grove, State Government and Civil Rights Committee, RP. From 2 to 6, no repudiation of my claim to violation of RLM civil rights. From 1, refusal sans legal foundation to investigate councilors or mayor. From 2 to 6, no denial of my if, that Mayor William Peduto made a deal with SM to undermine RLM while RLM ran against WP for mayor 2017 in exchange for a settlement on SM's claim to wrongful death of her husband, Victor Miramontes, by city EMS. If Democrat Peduto did do that, what is the probability that the Pittsburgh DP also knew about it?
Thank you, Dr. Miller. And that exhausts our list of registered speakers. And with that said, is there anyone in the audience wishing to address City Council? Good morning, Ms. Brown.
Good morning. My name is Yvonne F. Brown. I live at 715 Mercer Street. That's in K. Leroy Irvis Tires up in the Hill District. I come today to speak about, I see attachment 2021-2029 resolution reappointing Councilman Reverend Ricky V. Burgess as member of the Housing Authority Board of Directors, and his term is to expire April the 30th, 2025. You as councilman, you have let Northview Heights Housing Authority down. Did you see the problems that they're having? When my daughter lived there years ago, I came down and was telling you about the problems when they were taking asbestos, actually carrying it out in bags. I came down, Mr. Burgess, when I went to the Housing Authority, he says, oh, Mrs. Brown, when I was talking about the asbestos, oh, she must have worked, the grass will grow, because I brought my grandbaby's shoes that we walked from her house to the car, caked with mud. And you had the women that would come out, they're doing work, they would come out and they fell. At least 4 women fell because of the mud. They would not even rinse the mud down. Now, Councilman Burgess, when I came down to the Housing Authority, he was very loud and said, oh, Mrs. Brown, don't worry, the grass will grow. I came back here to City Council and said, why would you take and tear down the women and the families that up there, they had to walk through mud, live through asbestos? Okay, he told me there wasn't no asbestos. I brought some down to you, Miss Smith. You remember? And you told me, you said, they old girl or woman, you said they were getting ready to close my office because of the asbestos. I know what I'm talking about when I'm saying that none of you deserve to be on city council if you don't look and see what's happening up there in Northview Heights. I want the people from Northview Heights come down. That's the only time they listen to you. When you're a bunch of you come, you must come, because they're not going to pay me attention. And I've been saying this for years. Over 27 years I've been coming here and they disrespect me. I'm tired of it. I talk loud because that's a part of me. But I asked the Reverend to please pray that I don't talk so loud. Reverend Cooper has said no, then the old people won't hear you. All you seniors, I'm speaking for you and anybody else, poor children, and I'm still upset when you said my grandchild, Mr. Burgess, said she had no right to speak. I want to know, how come Miss Strasburger, my time is up, but you need to come down here.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Are there any further speakers in the audience that would like to address council? Any further speakers? Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Sherman Hobson. I live in Bedford Dwellings. I'm here this morning because they're getting ready to do another choice grant. And the choice grant only has 8 elected officials, like 6 other adults, like the CDC and all of that. And it only has 1 person representing us on the board. So how can 1 person sign over 411 subsidized units and there's only 1 person that could be on the board? We need more people on the board. Not only do we want more people on the board, but I would like to sit at the table to make sure that nobody's unfairly treated. That's the only reason I'm here today, is because I feel we're being unfairly treated, because 1 person cannot override any votes on the board to make sure that we're fairly treated. So I would like to speak to some of those delegates, and also you, Councilman Lavelle, if it's possible. I'd like to have a meeting with you, and we could sit down and maybe get some more people on the board in order to override some of those votes in case there's something that's going on that we might not like. Now, so the plan is to separate Summers from Bedford. They want to send the people from Summers to Reed and Roberts, and then turn around and build on Summers if they get the money for the grant. But let's say they don't get the money for the grant. That means the people up on Chauncey are going to be separated by, there's going to be weeds on one side from Francis Street and gravel on this side from Summers, which leaves us in a desolate situation where we're just sitting there with all this situation on us, and they might not never build, and they're already not fixing up the property in order to maintain it. So if you ain't already fixing up the property to maintain it so it could go blight, what's going to happen to us? So that's my question to the elected officials and all that. What's going to happen to us? So we're going to wind up sitting there in a desolate situation without nobody coming to rebuild it. And eventually they're going to gentrify us out to the suburbs. That's what we want to prevent. So we don't want to destroy the process of the choice board. We don't want to interrupt the process. We want to be a part of the process. And we want to have some type of say of what happens to us. And that's what we're looking for. So if anybody can help us in that situation, my name is Sherman Hobson. My telephone number is 412-224-0603. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers before council that would like to address council? Any further speakers in the audience? Any further speakers? Seeing none, we'll now move on to our next order of business, which is the presentation of papers. And we'll begin our presentation of papers with Councilman Reverend Ricky Burgess, Chair of Parks and Recreation.
No new papers, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Councilman Coghill, Chair of Public Works.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman.
Councilman Coghill presents Bill number 2045, resolution authorizing the mayor and directors of the Department of Public Works and of Public Safety on behalf of the city to enter into a lease agreement with Steam Fitters Local Union 449 to allow the city to lease certain real property for use as the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police facilities for a term of 64 months at a cost not to exceed $3,149,054.64, excluding utilities. Bill number 2046, resolution authorizing the mayor and director of the Department of Public Works on behalf of the Shade Tree Commission using funds of the Shade Tree Trust Fund controlled by the Department of Public Works to enter into a cooperation agreement for tree-related activities and services with Tree Pittsburgh not to exceed $25,737.69 to enable reimbursement payment to Tree Pittsburgh for work in calendar year 2020. Bill number 2047, resolution authorizing the mayor and director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure to execute relevant agreements to receive grant funding from the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation's Green Light Go Grant for the fiber network expansion project, further providing for an agreement and expenditures not to exceed $266,736. The grant requires a match from the city in the amount of $66,684 for a total of $333,420. Bill number 2048, resolution authorizing the mayor and director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure to execute relevant agreement to receive grant funding from the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation's Green Light Go Grant for the East End Signal Retiming Project, further providing for an agreement and expenditures not to exceed $132,000. The grant requires a match from the city in the amount of $33,000 for a total project cost of $165,000. Bill number 2049, resolution amending resolution 22 of 2020 entitled authorizing the mayor and director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure to execute relevant agreements with the Redevelopment Authority of Allegheny County to receive grant fund to support Homewood Complete Streets Planning Project to increase the amount of grant funding received.
Madam President.
Thank you. Yes, Councilman.
May I call for a waiver of the rules of council on Bill 2045 so that it may appear on tomorrow's standing committee agenda?
Yes, thank you, Councilman. Do we have a motion? We have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The bill will appear on tomorrow's standing committee agenda. Thank you, Councilman, because that's in my district. Councilwoman Gross, Chair of Intergovernmental Affairs.
Madam President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Good morning.
Councilwoman Gross presents Bill number 2051, resolution adopting plan revision to the City of Pittsburgh's official sewer facilities plan for the proposed South Side Works apartment building project located at 2613 South Water Street.
And Councilman Kraus, Chair of Human Resources.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Good morning,
Good
Councilman.
morning, Council President.
Councilman Kraus presents Bill number 2052, resolution amending resolution number 800 of 2017, which authorized the city to enter into a professional services agreement with UPMC Benefits Management Services for services relating to the administration of the city's worker compensation program pursuant to the Pennsylvania Workers' Compensation Act by increasing the cost by a sum not to exceed $3,350,662 for an additional 3 years of service.
Thank you. And Councilman Lavelle, Chair of Finance and Law.
President,
Thank you, Councilman. Good morning. Thank you for your help today, too.
Councilman Lavelle presents Bill number 2053, resolution authorizing pursuant to Chapter 210 of the City Code, the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works to accept a donation from Carnegie Mellon University in the amount of $250,000 for the design and construction of playground improvements at 4 Mile Run Playground in Greenfield and Lewis Playground in Hazelwood. Bill number 2054, resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Wheels, Inc. in the amount of $6,526.80 in settlement of a claim for damage to a vehicle from the City of Public Works vehicle. Bill number 2055, resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Charles Reese Griffin in the amount of $7,067 in settlement of a claim for damage to a parked vehicle from a City Public Works vehicle on December 17th of 2020. Bill number 2058, resolution authorizing an agreement with Mar Duzel for services related to the administration of the city's emergency rental assistance program funding at a cost not to exceed $100,000. Bill number 2059, ordinance amending the city code so as to extend the life of the parking tax access and make related charges to effectuate that extension.
Madam President,
Thank you. Yes, Councilman.
motion to waive Rule 8 on bills 2058 and 2059.
Thank you. We have a motion, and do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Bills will appear on tomorrow's standing committee agenda. Thank you, Councilman. And Councilman O'Connor, Chair of Public Safety Services, who is out with his newborn
Yeah.
baby. Congratulations to the O'Connor family.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, thank you, Councilman, for Councilman O'Connor.
Councilman O'Connor presents Bill number 2056, resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of the Port Authority of Allegheny County in an amount not to exceed $24,702.50 for transportation services provided for the 2019 City of Pittsburgh Richard S. Caligari Great Race on September 29th of 2019 and the Great Race on September 26th of 2021.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Strasburger, Chair of Innovation, Performance, and Asset Management. Good morning, Councilwoman.
Good morning. No new papers, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And Councilman Wilson, Chair of Land Use and Economic Development.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman.
Councilman Wilson presents Bill number 2057, resolution authorizing the mayor and the Department of City Planning to execute relevant agreements to receive grant funding from the U.S. Department of Agricultural, Natural Resources, Conservation Service, Community Compost, and Food Waste Reduction Grant Program to support a municipal composting program feasibility study and further providing for an agreement and expenditures not to exceed $90,000. The grant requires an in-kind match from the city in the amount of $28,000. Bill number 2060, ordinance amending the Pittsburgh Code Title VII Business Licenses, Article 10, rental of residential housing, Chapter 781, residential housing rental permit program to change the fee for rental permit registration so as to reflect current practices in accordance with Chapter 170 fees.
Thank you. And myself, Chair of Hearings, I have two communications. Let's take those first.
Madam President, may I ask a question, please?
Yes.
You have a number of appointments this morning. How do you wish to handle those?
I'm going to take them all together because except for I think we should take the reappointments and informing, we should do that together. And then let's do the 4 appointments, new appointments separate. So in case anybody wants to interview.
Perfect. Thanks, Madam
Okay.
President.
Thank you.
Council President, Kel Smith presents Bill number 2023, communication from City Controller Michael Lamb, submitting a performance audit of the Department of Public Safety's Bureau of Animal Control, Animal Care and Control dated October 2021. Bill number 2024, communication from Kevin Paulus, Director of the Office of Management and Budget, submitting acting pay approval on behalf of the Department of Innovation and Performance for Sylvia Harris per the acting pay policy revised in June of 2018.
Motion to read, receive, and file.
Thank you. And the second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. It's approved. And now let's take the 14 reappointments.
Council President also presents Bill number 2027, resolution reappointing Richard Snipes as a member of the Historic Review Commission for a term to expire April 30th, 2024. Resolution reappointing Matthew Falcone as a member of the Historic Review Commission for a term to expire April 30th, 2024. Bill number 2029, resolution reappointing Councilman Reverend Ricky V. Burgess as a member of the Housing Authority Board of Directors for a term to expire April 30th, 2025. Bill number 2030, resolution reappointing Valerie McDonald Roberts as a member of the Housing Authority Board of Directors for a term to expire April 30th, 2026. Resolution reappointing Joanna Deming as a member of the Housing Authority Fund Advisory Board for a term to expire April 30th, 2025. Bill number 2032, resolution reappointing Jerome Jackson as a member of the Housing Authority Opportunity Fund Advisory Board for a term to expire April 30th, 2025. Bill number 2033, resolution reappointing Oliver Beasley as a member of the Housing Opportunity Fund Advisory Board for a term to expire April 30th, 2025. Bill number 2034, resolution reappointing Derek Tillman as a member of the Housing Opportunity Fund Advisory Board for a term to expire April 30th, 2025. Bill number 2036, resolution reappointing James R. Barry Jr. as a member of the Pittsburgh Shade Tree Commission for a term to expire on March 31st of 2025. Bill number 2037, resolution reappointing Jamie Holloway as a member of the Pittsburgh Shade Tree Commission for a term to expire on March 31st, 2025. Bill number 2038, resolution reappointing Andrea Ketzel as a member of the Pittsburgh Shade Tree Commission for a term to expire on July 31st of 2025. Bill number 2039, resolution reappointing Rebecca Karanen as a member of the Pittsburgh Shade Tree Commission for a term to expire on May 31st of 2025. Bill number 2040, resolution reappointing Brian Wolenick as a member of the Pittsburgh Shade Tree Commission for a term to expire on March 31st of 2035. Bill number 2041, resolution reappointing Christine Bochia as a member of the Pittsburgh Shade Tree Commission for a term to expire on July 31st of 2025. I believe those are all of the reappointments. Yep.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. And motion to approve in a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Madam President.
All in favor?
Councilwoman Gross, I think.
Councilwoman Gross, did you say something?
I did say, I said, Madam President, but then I couldn't hear if anyone said anything after that.
I couldn't hear.
No? I'm sorry, I'm not hearing anything. Madam
Oh, we have a
President,
motion to approve in a second. And I
Madam
said,
President,
yes,
may I speak?
yes, please.
Thank you. I couldn't hear your response. I just wanted to note for the record that, I looked up what the mayoral transition was like in 2013. Technically, since we still are in an election year until November, it's not, it's just we know that this is the lame duck period of the current administration. And I'm looking at some news media from 2013, and there were definitely a bevy of appointments from the Ravensdale administration, but not 21. There's 21 reappointments, and there's less than 3 months left to this current administration. And I just been asking about this last week because, of course, everybody's kind of wondering about certain appointments expire at the end of a mayoral administration. I think zoning and planning, but many of the, not including a lot of these seats. Many of these seats have just been empty for some time. And so it just strikes me that even though the current incumbents of the seats, right, the current commissioners who we just read reappointments. So these are people who have been serving, and I thank them for their service. It's an important function of government for each one of these boards and commissions, that we need citizen involvement. We get better results having citizens involved for our city at large. And yet there's really no need to do these reappointments today. And it certainly, you can see by the termination dates, it's appointing people for the next 4 years, even though this is an outgoing administration. I just thought it was important to note that for the record. And even though I want to say a heartfelt thanks, and I know and respect and even friends with many of these people, I will be abstaining today.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any further comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions?
Okay.
Thank you. The bills or the appointments or reappointments are approved. And can I have the 4 appointments?
Council President also presents Bill number 2025, resolution appointing Marcus Reed as a member of the Housing Opportunity Fund Advisory Board for a term to expire April 30th, 2023. Mr. Reed will serve the remainder of the term of Ethel Johnson, who served in a seat designated for a representative of a tenant council. Bill number 2026, resolution appointing Representative Emily Kincaid as a member of the Board of Directors for the Allegheny County Sanitary Authority for a term to expire December 31st of 2025. Representative will serve in a seat previously held by Brenda Smith, who resigned. Bill number 2035, resolution appointing Karen Breen as a member of the Pittsburgh Land Bank Board of Directors for a term to expire November 1st of 2023. Bill 2042, resolution appointing Rabbi James Gibson as a member of the Commission on Human Relations for a term to expire October 31st, 2025.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second, any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none. Does anyone, no one wants to hold for interview?
I don't think I do.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Am I missing anything? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I'll abstain, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And the appointments are approved. Thank you, Madam Clerk. And we have 3 bills informing council of appointments.
Council President presents Bill number 2043, resolution informing City Council of the appointment of Michael Quattruni to the Sports and Exhibition Authority Board of Directors for a term to expire December 30th of 2025. Bill number 2044, resolution informing City Council of the appointment of Michelle Walker as a member of the City County Task Force on Disabilities for a term to expire December 31st of 2021. Bill number 2061, resolution informing City Council of the appointment of Ralph Hargan as a member of the Stadium Authority Board of Directors for a term to expire December 30th of 2025.
Motion to read, receive, and file.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah.
Do we have a second? All-
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. And those, it's approved. Thank you. And now we'll move on to unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business before council? Seeing none, the next order of business is reports of committee for final action. And we'll start with Councilman Lavelle, Committee on Finance and Law. Thank you, Councilman. There's a lot to get through.
Councilman Lavelle presents Bill number 2019. Report of the Committee on Finance and Law for October 13th, 2021, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 1970, resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Charmaine Character in the amount of $4,462.86 in settlement of a claim for damage to a parked vehicle backing into it on December 17th of 2020. Bill number 1971, resolution authorizing the mayor and director of the Department of Finance to enter on behalf of the city into an agreement of sale with Smith and Bowen and all documents necessary to purchase 80 Wabash Street for a total not to exceed $374,000, which includes the purchase price of $344,000 plus acquisition costs for the purpose of continued operation of the city's West End Healthy Active Living Center. Bill number 1972, resolution authorizing the mayor and director of the Office of Management and Budget to enter into an agreement with agencies to provide emergency shelter services, street outreach services, rental assistance, and housing relocation and stabilization services and/or data collection activities as associated with the 2021 Emergency Solutions Grant Fund at a cost not to exceed $1,214,418.
You've heard the reading of the title of the bills. Is there any discussion on the bills? I'm just going to mention that I'm very grateful to the administration for purchasing the senior center on 80 Wabash Street in the West End. It's important to make sure that this center stays open, and this will be a step in that right direction. It's important to the community and surrounding neighborhoods of the West End. With that said, the bills are now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Reverend Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. Coghill. Ms. Gross.
Aye.
Mr. Kraus.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle.
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mrs. Cal Smith, President.
Aye.
Aye, 7, no, 0.
Thank you. The bills, having received the legally required number of votes, are finally passed. And thank you to council members as well. That brings us on to Councilman Anthony Coghill, Committee on Public Works. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Coghill presents Bill number 2020, report of the Committee on Public Works for October 13, 2021, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 1961, resolution amending resolution number 205, entitled authorizing the mayor and director of the Department of Public Works to apply for a grant from the Pennsylvania Museum and Historical Commission to rehabilitate the windows of the Oliver Bath House. The grant proposal includes a request of $100,000 with a local match of $100,000 to be provided in the 2021 capital budget to add language to allow the city to accept the grant award and to spend the funds. Bill number 1962, resolution authorizing the mayor and director of the Department of Public Works to apply for grant funding from the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development Keystone Communities Grant Program to provide funding for the purchase of play equipment in Phillips Park The grant proposal include a request of $30,000. Bill number 1965, resolution granting unto Kevin and Katrine Heher their successors and assigns the privilege and license to construct, maintain, and use at their own cost and expense, replace a set of existing steps and retaining wall presently constructed in the right-of-way with new steps, a raised planter, and a retaining wall in same location at 5035 Councilman Street, 7th Ward, 8th Council District. Bill number 1966, resolution granting unto WAG4LP their successors and assigns the privilege and license to construct, maintain, and use at their own cost and expense 14 Type 1 architectural walls gowns, 5 Type 2 architectural walls gowns, 3 architectural fabric awnings, and 2 bullards at 2400 East Carson Street, 16th Ward, 3rd Council District.
Thank you. You've heard the reading of the title of the bills. Is there any discussion on the bills? Councilman Kraus.
Yeah, Madam President, thank you very much. I just want to reference back to Bill 1961 and the commitment and recognize the commitment over the years of the Peduto administration to do the restoration of the Oliver Bathhouse. The building is a classic structure that I can't remember exactly when it was built, but it has been around South Pittsburgh for as long as you and I have been alive. And
A little bit longer, right?
and probably a little bit more, but there's such a love for the Oliver Bathhouse, and not just in the South Side, but throughout South West Pittsburgh. I would be remiss in not recognizing Mayor Peduto and the Peduto administration for their steadfast commitment to the restoration and revitalization of the Oliver Bathhouse, and just want to put that out there on the record.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
Any other members? Any other members? I'm just going to thank you, Councilman Kraus, because the reason they do those things is because you're such a great advocate for your district.
Yeah,
So
thanks,
thank you
man.
for
Thank you.
for your work too. The bills are now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage, vote aye when the name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Reverend Burgess,
Aye.
Ms. Gross,
Aye.
Mr. Kraus,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle,
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mrs. Cal Smith, President.
Aye.
Aye, 7, no, 0.
Thank you. The bills having received the legally required number of votes are finally passed. And that moves us on to Councilman Bobby Wilson, Committee on Land Use and Economic Development.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman.
Councilman Wilson presents Bill number 2021, report of the Committee on Land Use and Economic Development for October 13, 2021, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 1973, resolution requesting authorization for the mayor and the Department of Permits, Licenses, and Inspections to enter into an amended agreement with Avenue Insights and Analytics to digitize microfiche and apertures cards holding historic permitting data and add them to the department's digital library. The agreement is chargeable and payable from the following account in an amount not to exceed $260,600. Bill number 1974, resolution further amending Resolution 863 of 2018 entitled Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2019 Capital Budget and the 2019 CDBG Program, the 2019 through the 2024 Capital Improvement Program, so as to reduce the Light of Kimberly by $5,000 and increase Family Services United and the Light of Kimberly by $5,000. Bill number 1975, resolution further amending Resolution number 647 entitled Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2021 Capital Budget and the 2021 CDBG Program and the 2021 through 2026 Capital Improvement Program, so as to identify specific projects in City Council Districts 1, 4, 5, 6, and 8, and authorize a subsequent agreement on behalf of the residents of the city.
Thank you. You have heard the reading and the title of the bills. Is there any discussion on the bills? Seeing none, the bills are now ready for final action. All in favor of their passage will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Reverend Burgess,
Aye.
Ms. Gross,
Aye.
Mr. Kraus,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle,
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mrs. Kell Smith, President.
Aye.
Aye, 7, no, 0.
Thank you. The bills having received the legally required number of votes are finally passed. And that moves us on to our last committee of the day is Councilwoman Deborah Gross, Committee on Intergovernmental Affairs.
Madam President,
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Councilwoman Gross presents Bill number 2022, Report of the Committee on Intergovernmental Affairs for October 13th, 2021, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 1967, Resolution adopting the plan revision to the City of Pittsburgh's official sewer facilities plan for the Julian A. Hudson property project, which will involve the development of a 10-story, 148 multi-unit apartment building with an underground parking garage. The site address is 419 Melwood Avenue in the 5th Ward.
Thank you. You've heard the reading and the title of the bills. Is there any discussion on the bills? Seeing none, the bills are now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Reverend Burgess,
Aye.
Ms. Gross,
aye.
Mr. Kraus,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle,
Aye.
Ms. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mrs. Kell Smith, President.
Aye.
Aye, 7, no, 0.
Thank you. The bills having received the legally required number of votes are finally passed. And that moves us on to our motions and resolutions, and I have a few meeting announcements. The Park Tax Task Force will meet this afternoon at 3:30. Thank you to the members who are serving on that, and to Councilman Burgess for chairing. And council will hold our standing committees meeting tomorrow, Wednesday, October 20th at 10 a.m. Speaker registration for this meeting closes at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. To register, fill out the sign-up form on the council meeting webpage. You may also call the city clerk's office at 412-255-2138. And that meeting is chaired by Councilman Lavelle. And tomorrow afternoon with sessions at 1:30 and 2:30, council will hold a briefing on stormwater and stormwater fees. On Thursday, October 21st at 5 p.m., the School Board Reapportionment Advisory Committee will hold their first meeting in council's large conference room. We will also make it available virtually to those who are unable to attend in person and serve on the committee. Also, the Allegheny County Democratic Black Caucus has extended an invitation to all council members, staff, and the clerk's office to attend the Respect Our Votes Gala this Sunday, October 24th at 8 p.m. Part of the proceeds for this event will be donated to support Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And all members should have received that invitation via email from the caucus. Do I have anything from members?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Burgess.
so two things. I listened to Councilwoman Gross in terms of the reappointments, and I hear her logic. I'll simply talk about me a little bit and about housing, and then not long. I was originally appointed to the URA for like a day. Originally, Mayor Ravenstall actually appointed me to the URA for like a day. I did not ask for that appointment, but it came over. And then I think the next day they put me on the Housing Authority board. I think I'm its longest serving member, I think. Certainly of this board, but I think perhaps in history, I'm the longest, certainly when my term expires, I think I'll be the longest serving member. When Mayor Peduto became mayor, he sent me a letter asking for my resignation from the Housing Authority board. I received the letter, I read it, I respectfully declined because I believe, as I've been consistent, that council people and council is a separate, independent government. We're working with the mayor, but not subject to mayor decisions directly. And so I stayed on the Housing Authority and will stay on the Housing Authority under our new mayor, which I sincerely hope is Representative Gainey. I, it's funny in terms of housing, I am not the smartest guy in the room in housing, but I have talked to the smartest people in the country. People like Mercedes Marquez, who was the deputy director of HUD, and Richard Barron of McCormick Barron Salazar, the largest affordable housing industry company in the world, actually. And I had a chance to learn from them. And fixing housing is not difficult. It's not brain surgery. We know exactly how to do it, right? The goal is to have three things: quality, mixed income housing, along with appropriate social services, after school programming, job training, entrepreneurship, all that stuff, and then sufficient community amenities. Those are the three things. You put them together. That's what Choice does, and we did in Lamar. Choice forces you to do that, and it works. The problem is that we don't have enough money. In order to really change housing, especially affordable housing in the city of Pittsburgh, two things would have to happen. One, we would have to, as the public, figure out a way to come up with about 150, maybe 120, some large number through a bond of some sort, where we had a large cash infusion. Other cities across the nation have done that. We've done a little bit of that with the Housing Opportunity Fund, but not enough. We need some big number between 80 and $150 million to jumpstart affordable housing. And then secondly, which is just as important, which you're starting to see in Lamar, but not in other low-income communities in the country, across the city rather, is the private market stopping, instead of being racist and redlining these communities, to invest their dollars. The financial markets, the banks, instead of discriminating in plain daylight against African Americans, they start providing loans to buy houses, loans to fix up their houses, ways to improve those communities. If you do those two things, and we already know how to do it. It's simply a matter of will and of justice. When the financial institutions of this city decide that it's their racist practices that have been baked in for 100 years, decide that it is unfair, decide to stop. At the same time, we as a city commit multi-million dollars in the $100 million or more sort of fund to do that. You do those two things, and we can fix, over the next 20 years, we can fix housing in the city of Pittsburgh. And so I look forward to working, and I will continue to work somewhat quietly sometimes with the Housing Authority to have them have better outcomes and to provide quality housing in our neighborhoods. Thank you for this moment.
Thank you, Reverend Burgess. Any other members? Any other members? Seeing none, I just want to make a few comments myself. And I have heard several times the comments about the housing and the condition of housing, people receiving vouchers, housing authority properties. I do think that we should have a post agenda regarding housing and the housing authority. It's something I've always talked about, but I do think we should have a post agenda about it. And I'll talk to Councilman Burgess about that as well, because, and maybe a public hearing so we can hear from the public. And with that said, I'll just point out that I heard Councilwoman Gross as well. And it reminded me back when I was first on the LCACM board and Mayor Peduto had been elected and Rich Fitzgerald. Simultaneously, they sent letters out asking board members to rescind or to submit their resignation. And I did not. I think a lot of people did, but I did not, because I felt that I was the voice of the people and I wasn't going to allow it to be controlled by anybody. I wanted to remain independent. I wanted the board to remain independent. Eventually, I got off on my own terms a year or so later when I was ready. And they were fortunate to get Councilman O'Connor on that board. But for me, at the time, I would not allow a mayor to totally control the authority. So I remember very well. And I think that it's important to point out that we would be willing to work with whomever the mayor is. That's what we have always done. And if there's somebody that somebody wants on there or somebody wants off of there, typically we work through those issues. I'm not saying that we always do. Sometimes it's good to have some independent voices. But we usually do work through those. And I don't anticipate this being any different with the new administration. But I will say that the URA is also getting ready to have some expirations on their board. And I'm going to advocate strongly that that person comes from southwest of the river, because there's nobody on that board that represents southwest of the river. I'm not even sure if they have anybody from the north side. But almost everybody that I know of is from the East End, and the East End, no wonder they're dominating in development across the city of Pittsburgh. I think it's time for our side of town and the north side to work together collectively to make sure that we're getting some voices, because otherwise we don't have an opportunity to have the same representation. And with that said, I want to, and I will say that I heard Ms. Brown's comments about the asbestos. And I do want to point out that it was Reverend Burgess who did have the asbestos tested in my office, quarantined, because he was actually on the health department board at the same time. And so he did make sure that he tested that. And the threat was not that there was asbestos in the building. The threat was when it was removed from the building and became airborne. And so I do remember very vividly when she delivered the asbestos here. But I do understand that there's a concern. And I just think that we need to make sure people, I think meeting and talking with people makes them feel much more secure when they know that we're being honest. Like, yes, there may have been asbestos, but no, it's not dangerous unless it's removed, or that we're meeting with people about the issues that they have before them and at their homes and working through that. But with that said, I want to congratulate Councilman Corey O'Connor, his wife Katie, and their family on the birth of their new baby, Molly. I almost called her Abby. Molly. And we know that he'll be out for a while tending to his new baby and new family. And we want to congratulate them and wish them all well. With that said, can I have a motion to excuse the absent members, approve the minutes, and adjourn the meeting?
Second.
All in favor? All in favor? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.